Over the past week, I have been living with 20 other content creators with millions of followers combined between us. Right? All of us are here for a reason. We train together, we film content together. It's all thanks to the Amplify program and thanks to Alfie. Today's video is going to be more of a raw one. It's just a sit-down podcast style chat, Q&A, and I hope you guys enjoy.
There's some serious tropical rain, even though it was promised to be dry season. So first off, I'll kick us off. I'm Alfie. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I started content about 18 months ago. For me, it was about a 75-day hard challenge. Wanted to chase some physical and mental excellence. That created AlfieGetsHard. And from there, it's been a pretty rapid ride. For any of you who followed the journey, I now help other people build and monetize their personal brands and take a similar path or journey that I had myself.
Yo, what's good? My name's Finn. I started content also about 18 months ago, helping other people build their personal brand, especially entrepreneurs, influencers. And then I'd say for the last 2 months, I've been going hard and started focusing on my own personal brand.
What is up, y'all? My name is Ian Fons from Texas. I'm also a content creator. Started about, maybe 2.5 years ago. I'm a Gymshark athlete, BPN athlete. Got a bunch of other sponsors, NoCo, Whoop. Just live life and document it, baby.
What's up, guys? I'm Reed. I'm 23. I just moved to Bali to start making content through the Amplify course. Everything out here is absolutely insane, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for helping me on my journey through content. I just want to be here to show everyone that it is possible.
What up, guys? My name's Tin. Started content about a little over a year ago. Was tired of my situation, and I wanted to get out of it. Had two of my best friends, Noah and Darren, start with me, and kind of just took off from there. Started RawDawg, and now it's kind of been an insane journey. And I'm here in Uluwatu with Alfie and the Amplify team, so it's been a blessing.
What's up, guys? My name's Noah. I started content about 5 years ago. Right after high school, I knew that college wasn't what I wanted to do, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I knew that I had to put myself out there in some way to figure out a different path, and I knew that I wanted to try something different. Blew up on TikTok originally, started doing like cooking videos, and then now I've been doing like athlete stuff. And now we're here. We started RawDawg with my boys, and now we're in Uluwatu.
What's up, guys? My name is Darren, and similar story. I started content creating about like a year ago. Just graduated college, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Didn't want to get stuck in a 9 to 5, and first blew up like doing tattoo videos, and then the brand picked up as well. And so now I'm here, halfway around the world with my guys, making core memories.
What's going on, Ned Wagner? I started content last August. Before that, I was working corporate job in New York City for 7 years, and just decided that wasn't for me, and that's kind of when I went all in on content and started growing my Instagram.
All right, guys, what's up? I'm Rayja. I'm originally from Germany, and I started around 3 years ago. And for me, content creation was like the ticket out of Germany. I always wanted to be surrounded by good people, and this is what I was missing back in Germany. And I was seeing other guys posting content and being able to, travel the world, work at the same time, meet good people. And this is when I then started to post every single day, started on TikTok. And now we're here, been able to live here in Bali for almost 2 years now, and been just, grateful to be surrounded by great people.
Hey guys, I'm Zedan Mutlu. I'm originally from Turkey, and I was a construction worker and a barber for most of my life. I originally blew up on TikTok doing barbering content when I was living in Texas. I never really aspired to go down the content creation route. I just saw it as a way to get more clients for my barbering journey. And then I realized that barbering is part of a lifestyle where you can look good, feel good, and go about doing what you want to do in life. So that was really my ticket where I transitioned from barbering content into more fitness and lifestyle. And that's how I ended up over here, now doing the online thing. So great to have you.
Epic. Thank you, boys. I thought to kick off, we'd start with maybe Ian, since you've been in the space the longest. Do you think it's harder or easier to enter the content space now as opposed to before?
So I think that's a question that could go many ways. I think it's easier to go viral nowadays. It's easier to have a couple videos that get you a million, but it's harder to gain a following, harder to gain a community nowadays. That's what's hard. Back in the day, it kind of used to be hard to go viral. So now, easy to go viral, hard to get a community like us.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things we've seen is people can sort of start an account and it's not like, oh, if you're established and you've been in the game for 2 or 3 years, you've got the upper hand. Like whoever's making the most interesting content at the present time is going to win and going to have that preference in the algorithm, in the explore feed. And I think understanding the basics of like what is content creation, what's going to make you stand out. And although there's more people in the space than ever, I feel like, I don't know, Zedan said it well the other day. You're saying like, it's actually not that saturated because if you stand out and you're truly authentic to yourself, you can cut through so fast. I mean, I wanted to pass to Zedan with, I think your content's so unique compared to a lot of the people out there. How do you sort of think about content creation? And I guess having seen the space and come up really fast, relatively quickly, what do you sort of see, or relatively recently, what do you see makes you stand out compared to other people?
I guess for the most part of it, I would say it's just an understanding of the core principles of the online space, and it's all about attention and how quickly you can garner attention. The way I've seen it is it's more or less a formula. If you can crack the first, I don't know, 1 second of someone's attention, and you can give them a quick dopamine boost, they'll have the unlocked focus onto you. So in my content journey, I've always really just focused on providing the most amount of value, being super stimulating in the beginning. And that's how I've seen a rapid amount of growth over the past, 1 year that I've been taking it quite seriously. And I think, yeah, it is quite right that when people get into the online space, they may think it's quite saturated. But I don't think it is actually saturated at all. I think once you get in, you really quickly see how easy it is if you can be consistent, but also make stimulating content. A lot of people, they'll be focusing on trying to do what maybe people around them are doing. But I think if you can be yourself in the rawest form and your own personality is interesting enough, you have life experience to talk about, I think you'll gain quite a following quite quickly. Yeah.
Nice. And Ray, for you, like starting in Germany, what inspired you to first create content, but then also move out to Bali? Because you've been living here for a little while now, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to do something different, especially by being in a place like Germany where it's not so common, where people post content, walk down the street with a camera in their hand. So it makes it super, super difficult to being different. But this is exactly what makes a difference at the end of the day. You want to achieve something what not the most people have at some point. So you need to be ready to do something what the most people are not ready to do. And just by doing that, you then unlock new doors. And this, as I said, was like the ticket for me to get out of Germany. And once I got here, I just realized that it is possible. There's so many inspiring people who are doing better than you. And this is also the thing. Once you're surrounded by people who are better than you, stronger than you, faster than you, and just more even successful than you, and you will grow, you will learn a lot. So yeah, this helped me a lot, and just to open my eyes to be in places like this. So yeah, this is it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things for all of us. Like we all grew up in hometowns where content wasn't necessarily like the main avenue at all. And although it's becoming more and more popular, I feel like when you start, you're going to be an anomaly. You're going to stand on your own. And I mean, for Ned, I think that was your case, right? In New York, like, it's the home of lawyers, investment bankers, all of the things, all the traditional sort of forms of income. And probably being content creation was quite different for you. I know you took like a pretty drastic step after that. Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I was working New York City, corporate job, 7 years, like climbing the ladder. And I thought that with each promotion, each title, each additional paycheck, I was going to get incrementally more happy. And I kind of got to that like director level job at like a huge company and realized that I had never been unhappier at that point. It just wasn't like the movie that I wanted to keep living. And that's when I started to think about like, what are my other options? And I had never really thought about content, but I thought, what do I really enjoy doing and what can I help people with? And it was fitness. So that's when I said, like, let's just go all in. I actually left my corporate job, and I did that because it forced me into an environment that I did go all in. Like, there was no other option. And I just told myself I wasn't gonna give up. And unfortunately, I've seen enough success that obviously brought me here with you boys. But yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Once you see the other side, it's very hard to go back. And I think it also speaks testament. It could be fitness, could be something else. But if you have a true passion for something, in this day and age, there's enough people on the platform that if you post about it every single day and document your process, either learning it, like you don't always have to be the finished product. If you're going through that journey, you're taking those steps as well. Like people are going to follow you. And I guarantee if you do it for 365 days and show up every single day, your life is going to completely change regardless of the end output. Like one, you're just getting repetitions at actually doing the thing of content creation. But on the other side of that as well, you're putting yourself out there and you're going to connect with so many like-minded people. Like for pretty much everyone here, none of us would be here if we didn't start. And we definitely didn't start with the following we've amassed today. We all started at absolutely zero. And I think nobody looks cool taking, we can all speak to that. No one looks cool posing in front of the camera or speaking to the camera when you've got 100 followers, but it's got to be done. You've got to do those repetitions at the beginning. I wanted to switch gears slightly and go upstairs to the boys who've managed to build an amazing omni-channel experience. So actually bringing the digital into the physical. I want to speak on your experience because I think now more and more people are creating content, but to be able to build community, to Ian's point, is a really difficult thing. So how do you guys sort of view building community and creating something that obviously lives on the digital, but then is manifested through run clubs in the physical?
So I think a big point of what we did is that we really try to add as much value as we can to people and create a vibe. I think that a lot of people just think that like making videos and like posting it will like bring people together, but like we made an effort whenever we were together and we hosted to make sure that like we would talk to everybody, we'd be as genuine as we can, we try to be as welcoming as we can, and we try to really curate this event to maximize people having this, like what you said, like stimulating, like people, you should go there and you should bring high energy. Like I think a lot of people are scared to be the first ones to take that step forward of being the one person that like has the camera around or is like yelling or like bringing energy. And if you're able to do that, it's contagious. If you're smiling and you're laughing and like we're all up there and we're all like having a good time. Like I remember in Chicago, we pulled up a little bit later and there's already like 500 people and the DJ was late and the vibes were just kind of like mid. And some dude, or the owner of the Chicago Run Club, was like, yo, he just hands me a megaphone and goes, okay, go. And I'm like, fuck, like I got to set the vibe. Like I have to be the first one to step my foot out. And I remember like, I'm used to talking to people, but that was one of our biggest run clubs. It ended up being like 1,200 people. And I was like shitting myself that I have to like go and set this vibe. And I play some music out of my phone into this megaphone. And I just walk around, I'm like running around, like dancing and singing. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, this person's picking it up. And then this person's picking up. And then next thing you know, like the vibe just continues to grow. And like if you're able to be cringe for a second, all of a sudden everybody else, it's not cringe anymore. You know what I mean? But you have to be willing to be uncomfortable for a little bit to be able to like set the vibe for everybody else. And I think a lot of people just want to like create this community and like be the cool ones, like and nonchalant, like up here and be like, yeah, like we started this, but like you need to be the one on the ground. You need to be the one talking to people. You need to be one putting your foot forward and being cringe first so that everybody else isn't cringe because they're just following your lead. I think that was something that really stood out with our events, is that we were willing to be
idiots.
Yeah, you know?
We were willing to be. I think building off of Noah, the success of our own personal brand through building the community was that people saw that we were normal people. I think people are fed up of following influencers and following people that see themselves as this. People just want to feel like they know someone. And when you build a community of real people, you are one of them, you know? And I think that's where the success comes from, is people just want to feel relatable. Like people want to relate to you. They want to feel like, hey, Alfie's my friend actually. So when I see Alfie in person, like, yo, bro, like, how was Bali? Like, tell me about it. Like, how are the boys? It's not like, yo, I love your content, bro. Can I please take a picture with you? You know, I think that's where people go wrong now. Making content is like, they want to be seen as this big person when really you just want to be on the same level as everyone else. Yes, your content needs to stand out, but also you need to be a relatable person. You need to be someone's friend. People who are scrolling and doom scrolling are looking for a friend. They're not looking for someone to look up to.
Yeah, and like adding up on that, I feel like every run club, why we succeeded was that, a lot of people are like look up to your content because like it's hard to make friends out here. I feel like especially us, because we're around with other content creators, like people are going through like dark times. I remember when I was going through dark times and like going through like my favorite YouTubers and feeling like, dude, like this person's going through like similar human emotions as me, like I can get through this. And like every time like we're in Run Club and someone's like, yo, like I've been following you so and so, like I make it an active effort to genuinely like connect with them, look at them in the eye and like say what's up and check up on them, because like that shit resonates with people. Like I think people are a lot more socially intelligent than we give them like credit for. Like people can sense when you're ingenuine and stuff like that. And so I feel like when you light a spark into people, like that like lasts for a long time. And so just keeping that energy, like people are gonna come back, and giving value.
And that's how you get like more engagement, is when you build that community and people feel like they're your friend. Like people comment on our stuff, like clowning us. And it's like, I never met this guy, but he's clowning me like if he's one of my best friends.
They pick up on our lingo.
Yeah, they pick up on
pick
our language.
they
Using
pick
our
up on-
slang. I'm like, bro, how do you know that? That's like for our homies.
But like that's what you like is so amazing about the content that we do, is like we're a lifestyle, we're normal people. People aren't just like hyping us up or like looking up to us.
And I think a last little thing is like showing the imperfections, being open to showing that like we fuck up all the time. Like we've multiple times where we've like messed up on merch, or we messed up on this, and like, or the events didn't go perfectly right. And it's like we showcase that, we talk about it, and like realize that people aren't there for you to be perfect. They're there for along on the journey, and you being transparent and honest really does build that connection with them.
Where they're constantly engaging with your content. They want to keep up with you. It's not like a one like and then, all right, this guy posts the same thing, talks about the same stuff, is living the same life.
Yeah, it's like an unscripted TV show. And that's the key thing that's so cool about content now, is everyone can document their life. I put up a video the other day, but I remember being super inspired maybe 4 or 5 years ago when Joe Rogan was talking about, imagine someone's documenting your life. Like imagine you had a film crew following you around, filming you all the time. How differently would you live your life? Like how much more seriously would you take it moving towards your goals? And the reality is like you don't need the film crew anymore. Like you can literally pick up your phone that is in your pocket and start documenting your life. And for a lot of us, that's where it started as well. We didn't have it all figured out. Like you guys were creating content long before RawDawg was even in conception. I think that's really important to remember. It's easy to look at the finished or still work in project for all of us and be like, wow, they built something so amazing, and like start putting them on a pedestal. But the reality is like we're building it brick by brick. And like to us, it's just felt like a very methodical journey of placing that brick and then being like, okay, where does the next one go? It's never the finished product when it starts.
I really like the thing you said where you like it all starts with your phone. Like I'm pretty sure all of us started just with our phone. No fancy camera, no whatever. And if anything, I think phone content does better than anything else because it's relatable and it's like it feels like it's right there. Like what Tin said, where it's like it should feel like you're almost like friends, It should be like a POV from your friend, like
I'm FaceTiming you, or I'm sending you a video through your text message, like look what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it's actually the content creation is about ideas at its like soul. And the idea is the most important part. If you resonate with that idea and it's relevant to you and you understand it and you really connect with that idea, it doesn't matter if it's shot on a $100,000 camera or an iPhone. Because the reality is, as long as you can understand the idea and you connect to it, it doesn't matter. And the quality of iPhone now is like so good. So I'd say to start, the barrier to entry has never been lower. Like to be able to pick up your phone and have that and start filming yourself, start recording, and just get better at like the basic, CapCut and all of these apps that are very intuitive. Obviously down the line, you can start to go more high production, but it's like, MVP of content can start so minimal.
You don't need like a crazy, like inspiring life. Like we started literally like we had mold in our house, like, and we would just go to the gym and like record stuff, but learning how to document with a phone in a romantic way, in the sense of like romanticize your life and showcase it in a try to think about it in a cool way. How do I frame this in a nice way? How do I shoot this video in nice? So you're not just like in the corner and you're kind of off center, like learning the basics of like how to shoot a video and then just do it with your phone. And that's literally it.
But that also comes with time. Like all of our first videos, I bet if we looked back, we would just be like, well, what were we doing? But it's such a good learning curve. And if you show up every single day, like you're just getting better at the skill. It's like when you walk into a gym for the first time, like your first reps are shit. everything's so new, like you don't know what you're doing, you feel uncomfortable, but over time, through the repetitions, like you start to learn, and then you just work on yourself until you get where you want to be. Finn, from your perspective, having run previously a TikTok agency,
Mm.
what was yours? Because I know a lot of clients, they want the high production, but they don't understand that actually iPhone content's like where it's at for a lot of the viral content that needs to go out.
Yeah, so we always focused on phone content compared to camera stuff, specifically because it just resonates more with the audience. We ran a TikTok agency and we were running all these nightclubs in Sydney and doing all their content. And we'd try stuff on the camera and it just wouldn't work. It just doesn't hit the same way. So we ended up just completely switching to phones and just bringing our phones every time. And I think there's something about it people being able to relate with the phone content because they see it so much. They're always filming on their phone themselves. So when they see it on the platform, it's more about the idea rather than the quality of the video.
Yeah. I think you can go the other way as well. Obviously, Zedan's content's like a movie every time I watch it, and I love it. But I think being on Instagram, given everyone scrolling on their phone, it feels very natural to look at iPhone footage because it's what we're used to seeing. I think when you progress to YouTube, you've done an amazing job building like an epic YouTube following. I mean, when you think about growing your YouTube, what's sort of your view of like where you want to take it and just your overall design, I feel like, behind the cinematography and the life design you have?
Wait, so when you mean like my whole basis or the projection I have for my YouTube, do you mean like where I want to take it or how I've started it?
Where you want to take it and maybe a little bit about where you've started it and how.
Yeah. Well, I'll obviously go in chronological order. So the way I started my YouTube, so obviously I done TikTok, and my first TikTok video, I didn't take it seriously. One of my friends just said, "Okay, just do a TikTok." I was like, "I'll never do that," but like I did it, and then the first video popped off pretty crazy, like the very first one, and that's because, like I said, I nailed that first little section, and it was very different content. I mean, most barbers when they make content, they film their haircut, but I realized from the beginning, people follow people they like. People also buy from people they like. So instead of me filming my haircuts, I literally just filmed me cutting the hair. Then I went on to Instagram, and then I always knew that I sat down and I really wanted to have the YouTube. Just because I saw that the attention span that you get from short form media, like if someone sits through a 10-second video, yeah, they could be a fan and they could ask you for a picture in real life. But someone that can sit through a 10-minute video of you is a lot more valuable to your whole project with whatever you're doing. So I started the YouTube and I literally worked like a donkey. I heard about this method called Eat the Frog. So literally for 3 months straight, I woke up at 4 a.m. every single day and I filmed 4 videos, and then I pumped them on YouTube, and it literally just took one video popped off and then my YouTube started growing. So now my focus is not necessarily so much short form. I really want to continue the YouTube because I feel like the personal brand I can build off YouTube is quite powerful. If you think a lot of the successful people that came off social media, especially in the early days, was long form. So I want to continue growing my YouTube. I enjoy, and I think that's the most important part that I think the RawDawg boys can also relate on, is they actually enjoy making their content. And obviously my content is very different, but even just hanging out with these fellas over the last few days, I've been amazed at how they do their content. Like it's not really planned as much. They go around taking Snapchats and little videos of each other, and then they put it together and they make something really stimulating. And that's what they talk about, the relatability. The viewer needs to feel like they're having a Snapchat from their friend. So my YouTube, I definitely go the opposite route, the cinematic, high production value, but it wasn't always like that. Like everyone else, I started on an iPhone 12 mini. So the way the iPhone 12 mini, man, in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I remember all the other barbers used to laugh at me when I had my iPhone there, like making videos of me. But that was definitely worth it. So the YouTube, the way I want to take it, I just want to grow it as big as possible. I want to reach as many people as possible. I want people to be involved in the story. And when I come out with my own products, I want everyone to have Zedan Istanbul in their little bathroom kit. That's what I want.
Yes, sir. So sick.
Need a care package soon, bro.
That's what we've loved as well. I think being here, we've all seen each other's different content styles. And yeah, I definitely think like taking them on the journey behind the scenes, very raw. And then you've got more of a like movie cinematic style. I think it's cool to see it all come together in one place as well. I want to switch gears. Reed, you've started content probably the most recently out of everyone. So what was your experience, I guess, going from looking from the outside most recently and being like, fuck, that's sort of what I want to do? I guess, why does content attract you? And then what's your journey been like?
So, starting off based on my journey, I was doing uni. I finished a degree in psychology, but I realized after a while that it wasn't exactly for me. I had a close friend who was making content and starting to travel the world, and I thought that really interested in me because I know I didn't want to take uni any further and I didn't have another path. So I reached out and fell into the world of content creation. At the start, like everyone was saying, it was very nervy. I didn't know what I was doing, but as you progress and as you keep making videos, you obviously get better and then the opportunities arise. Like, I couldn't tell you how surprised I am that I'm sitting here after 2 months of posting a video every day. Like, being surrounded by some of the biggest creators in the world is honestly a privilege to learn from. And I think if anyone can take anything away, it's just to start, because your dreams aren't going to wait.
Let's go. Yes. No, it's so cool. I think everyone's on like different journeys. It all happens at different times, but putting yourself out there, it's just going to separate you from a lot of other people that aren't willing to do that. And it is a risk. And there are probably people close to you that will like talk behind your back. And we've all had that. Like, first they do laugh and then they ask how. And that's like a journey that's happened for all of us. So I think if you can break past that and get past that like inevitable judgment from your close peers and start posting content, the sooner you're going to start to be able to connect with other people, to go and chase all those things that you want to do. If you want to go travel, if you want to move overseas, if you want to connect with like-minded people, it's just a way of growing your network. And I sort of have a view that everybody today has a personal brand. Regardless if you like it or not, you've all got a digital footprint. And it either works for you or it works against you. And that's really up to you. I think like personal brands are only going to continue to be such a relevant thing into the future. And you can either leverage platforms like social media and make it a net positive. But I do think if you just consume on social media, to sort of end out a little bit of a net negative, because you're just consuming all this content and you're not in a position to put anything back out there. We're going to roll for some questions. Anything in the chat we can jump on for, feel free to drop it down in there and we'll get to it.
Yeah, we got one here. It's a question for Noah. Huge fan, by the way, of your content and lifestyle. But I know when you were younger, you had a whole different lifestyle. What was the turning point in your life, and how do you go about that big change? How's like?
Yeah, so like after I started posting, and it was like after high school, and I think a big thing for me was the people that I was surrounded around. All my friends at the time like weren't into content. They weren't into like, they didn't necessarily hate me or like hate it, but they also like weren't supportive of it. And so like a big changing thing for me was deciding to kind of like distance myself from everybody that wasn't fully supportive or into the same things that I was. Like, you kind of have to step away from the people that aren't in the direction that you want and keep moving in the direction that you want to go. And then all of a sudden you'll start attracting more people. And the next thing you knew, I met like Tin, Ian, Darren. And then all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was around this environment where even if I don't feel like posting or I don't feel like working out or I don't feel like doing anything, I see all of them doing it. And I'm like, I need to get the fuck up and start doing it. And so like that switch of being okay with being alone for a little bit to find the right type of people and be picky with your environment. And you kind of have to be a little selfish to be like, you know what? I want this kind of life. I want to achieve these kind of dreams. And you got to like just start working towards it and accept that like not everybody's going to be there along for the journey and that you're going to outgrow some people, but accepting that hard truth that like sometimes like your friends, if they're not always about it, like you're going to outgrow them and like that's okay. You don't necessarily have to have hate for them. Like you still want them to eat, but just not at your table.
Thanks, Zedan. This question might be for you. How does one get over the mental barrier of caring too much of what people think of you?
Question is, how does one get over the mental barrier of thinking too much about themselves and what people think of them?
Brother, I'm assuming you're a brother. Here's the thing, right? Do you think in 1 week anyone's going to remember what you just did? If you care so much about what someone thinks about you, think it like this. In 1 week, they're not even going to remember the occasion. In about a year, there's probably a 90% chance they won't even remember who you are. And at the end of the day, when you do, pass away, you are in that grave by yourself. And in 100 years, you're just a name in a long line of ancestors. So at the end of the day, nothing we do is actually that significant. If you look like a fool, if you want to wear sunglasses inside like I am doing right now, just be comfortable with being yourself. And I live life with 2 rules. I do what makes me happy and I don't bring shame to my family. So if you can do those 2 things, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you. Just be happy and don't bring shame to your family. That's all I have to say about that.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Well said, brother.
Write that down.
Alfie, question for you. Do you ever feel like you weren't the most qualified person to do what you're doing now, but you just did it anyway? And how did you quit that voice when it came up?
100%. Imposter syndrome is real, and I think for all of us, we've probably experienced it at some point. Apart from Zedan, I don't reckon he's ever had imposter syndrome. He's always been that motherfucker. Yeah, I think it's definitely for everyone. Like, you feel like, who am I to have a voice? Who am I to have a say? I think you got to lean back to the positioning and your voice, the tone that you use as well. So my whole thing was documenting my journey of a 75-day hard challenge. I was being very open that I wasn't a finished product and there were things I wanted to change in my life. So I think being able to do that and document and realize, shit, there's actually people not only that are resonating with the change that I'm going through, but there may be a few steps behind I was. And those are the people that you can best serve. So if you're unsure who to target or who your content should speak to the person you were 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago who hasn't gone through that change, hasn't had that transformation yet. That's the person you're best designed to help because you've taken the steps most recently. And sometimes learning from the expert that's 10 steps down the road, it's harder to resonate with that person. If you're like an elite level sprinter, but someone's getting into running for the first time, or like, let's say you're winning marathons and getting near like 2.5 hours, you're probably less designed than someone who's completing marathons and like has recently completed a couple races. I probably want to learn from someone that's just got over that hump because I'm going to be able to relate to them more. They're going to be able to connect with me more emotionally about problems like sticking to training, like the consistency around that. So I think you just need to position yourself. There's a lot of people that need help and the journey is so long. So wherever you're at, there's probably someone behind you that you're best catered and designed to help.
Cool. And then you have a second question. This is right on. Once people started paying attention, do you ever feel the pressure to perform instead of just like create? And did your why ever get like worried when you started to increase?
Yeah, I think once people start to pay attention, it definitely makes you realize of the impact you could have. Like very early on when I started creating content, I was getting messages even from a small amount of people saying how much the content impacted their lives. And that was sort of my takeaway of like, wow, I'm really like sitting on something big here that can really grow. And I think for all of us, it still feels surreal when people come up to you and they say how much, it's impacted their lives or changed their outlook on things. Because people go through struggles all the time and they can get in a really dark place. And I think when they find that light on social media, and if you can be the one to provide that, it's a very privileged place to be in. And I think with great power, great reach becomes great responsibility as well. So there's a duty to make sure that we position ourselves and look after those people. And I think provide as much value as we can and give back, like do more run clubs, do more free events, do things like this, where we can humanize the journey and show that we're no different to anyone else. Like, it's not like we were destined for some greatness. We just decided to take action and actually start moving towards the thing that we wanted. There's no difference between you and I, no difference between anyone here and you. It's just the difference that we started and took action towards it.
Sick. And then Ian, question for you from Francis. How do you balance staying consistent with the format of like videoing such idea versus like moving on when something's like not working in terms of content? Like what's the stopping point to switch like tactics if something's not working?
Personally for me, I go off of what I enjoy. I never go off of like, damn, I hit only this amount of views because I did this. I go off of, am I enjoying creating YouTube at the moment, or am I enjoying creating, these TikTok motivation reels? I don't really go off the views. Of course, that's going to factor a little bit, but I always think that if you love what you create, views will come. You're going to show that genuineness through the camera. People are going to know. But if I'm constantly performing just based off what my views are, what I think people are going to like, it shows through, and it's just shown not to last. People see through it, at least just being performative. And yeah, I just think that if I love what I create, it eventually works out. So hopefully that answers the question.
And this is a question for everyone. How do you go about shooting a piece of content?
All right, I'm gonna pass this one to Finn. This is how you go about creating very first piece of content. What should it be, and how do you go about creating it?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of gets it wrong. They always think they need to have some type of value to bring to the table when it comes to making content. When in reality, more people are interested in who you are as a person and you documenting the journey. Like you said before, you don't need to help someone get from A to Z to give them value, just from A to B. I can almost guarantee you, if you spent 75 days working on yourself, you will have value to give to the average person. So I think it's just starting, documenting the journey, showing people what you're doing and what you want to do, but not necessarily what you've done, especially if you're just starting.
Yeah, I'd open with a video that helps humanize yourself. There's a lot of people out there creating content. So if you can have something that's piece to camera, it's probably the most uncomfortable thing to do to start off. But I think push yourself to do a piece to camera, except it's not going to be like the most amazing polished content. But if you can just introduce who you are, why you want to create content, what the vision is, like whether that's connecting with people, moving overseas, or just putting yourself out there and learning a new skill, I think it's important because that's what's going to allow you to connect with the audience.
I think having fun. Like my first video, I thought about like, what do I fucking like? And I liked cooking and I liked working out and I like that. And I was like, how do I have fun while doing this? And then I think bringing good energy and showing yourself through that energy of like just having fun, like enjoy the process. Don't overthink it and be like, oh, I need to be like this person, or I need to be like this person, or I need to be like this person. Like you're never gonna be a better someone else. Like just rock you and have a good time. And fun shows, happiness shows. Like you can, it's like what Ian said, like don't care about like what's gonna get views or what's gonna like what's trendy right now. Like reverse engineer it and be like, what do I not like and what do I like? And then just have fun and record it.
Yeah, I think the best creators are very self-aware in that they really understand themselves and what they really enjoy, and that's portrayed online as well. If you're enjoying making the content and it's fun, one, you're going to stay way more consistent because you're actually enjoying it, becomes more sustainable, but also it lives and breathes through your content as well. You can see that authenticity, you can see that you're actually enjoying what you're putting out and you're not forcing it as much.
Question for Finn: How did you start? How did you start to find a way to be in front of the camera instead of always being the one recording? Big fan, talent.
How did you find a way in front of the camera?
I think for me it was, I started off working with entrepreneurs and influencers, traveling the world. Alfie was one of them, and helping him make content. And along the way, I was like, well, in 10 years' time, I'm going to want to look at what I've done. So I just started filming myself. I wasn't posting the content, but I was just documenting the journey, talking to camera, almost like a journal. And then, when the right time came, I felt comfortable. I felt confident to actually put stuff out there. And I had this massive backlog of content that I'd pretty much filmed from documenting my journey, traveling the world, doing cool things. And you slowly build up the confidence, but it does take, a bit of risk to start off and put yourself out there. But like Zedan said before, no one really cares and they won't remember your name in a week's time.
Like it.
Question for Noah. Did you have like a natural flow, like speak to the camera? Did it always start that way, or did you kind of naturally over filming content to start to gain confidence and like speak into the camera?
Did you have a natural
That's actually-
flow
yeah.
speaking to camera? Although I know you don't do a lot of piece
I
to
was gonna say,
camera.
that's an interesting question because honestly, I never talk to the camera, so like it's super uncomfortable and
He just talks a lot.
yeah, like the fear. The fear of like putting yourself out there and doing these things is always there, like, but you just have the confidence in yourself and you just don't allow the emotion to make you not post the video. Like I still think posting YouTubes and like it's hard for me to watch myself talking. But it's like what Alfie said, it's reps and reps and reps. Like as much as it's uncomfortable like talking to the camera, I'm really comfortable talking to people. And like I think a good thing that you do is put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like one of my favorite like socially awkward things to do is I'll ride my bike on Lady Bird Trail, like one of the most popular trails in Austin, and I'll have my headphones in and I will sing as loud as possible. And no one cares at the same time, but they just think it's funny. But at the same time, it's terrifying to like sing in front of random strangers. But like you do these uncomfortable things, you go up and talk to that girl, you practice, and it's the same thing with videos. Like you just turn on a camera and start talking, and eventually you'll get more comfortable with it, you know? But you gotta like forcibly do it. You don't just like one day wake up and you're like, I know how to talk to a camera. Like it's just through reps. Reps is it's not thinking about the thing, it's not planning about the thing. All of those are not actually doing the thing. So if you just do the thing, you'll get better at it.
Yeah, it's a learned skill. Same as like public speaking, probably same as doing this for like all of us. It's not like we just jump up here and like super, super comfortable. Like you need to put yourself in a little bit of uncomfortable position to get better at the thing. And I think just doing it more. If anyone's got better at public speaking over time, the first time you do it is like terrifying for everyone. You're scared shitless. And then over time, you're like, cool, I've spoken to like 10 people, then 20 people, then 50. And if you can scale up slowly like that and incrementally, you're just adding people, it just becomes more and more natural. But you're never going to get there if you refuse to put yourself in that position to grow.
Question for Ray: how do you balance between trending content and staying authentic to the brand you want to build?
Ray, how do we balance trending content between authenticity for the brand you want to build?
Right. So yeah, it's actually interesting, very interesting question. I think it's at the end of the day, really, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about a personal brand. At the end of the day, it really comes down to what you love the most, right? So if you stay true to yourself, look where you want to be, where you're right now and where you want to be, and post the things you enjoy the most. If it's fitness, and the thing is, or the funny thing is, we all do similar things, but we all manage to find our own style, but we didn't plan that. We are just authentic to ourselves. And by staying authentic to ourselves and getting the content out this way, we are unique. You know, this is also why many people always asking, okay, there are so many fitness influencers. There are already so many guys doing hybrid training, it's saturated, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can still do it, do what you love. But as long as you stay true to yourself and be yourself, you are unique. There's no one else just like you. So you, just by being you, are unique and stand out at a crowded area. And me personally, I love to add like more aesthetics to my content. This is what I love. I love to pay attention to the details. Has its pros and cons. I think also many of you struggle with getting out or always wanting to get out the perfect content. And it's really hard in the beginning to be consistent, but also keep up with your standards because you think, oh, so many people are watching. I want to get out the perfect content. And then you realize, okay, it just takes so much time and you will never get a perfect piece of content. So at the end of the day, it's okay, making yourself, taking action. And once you're happy with it at a certain point, get it out, get the repetitions in, and then you realize, okay, first of all, it will never be perfect. As long as you're happy with the content you create, that's the point. And this is what I really try to focus on, to also do it for myself. I create the videos not just for other ones or to create like a version of myself so people can look up to or whatever. It's just about inspiring other people, but also doing something I genuinely love. And also for myself, I love to see social media also like, or Instagram, like your like a social diary in a way, right? So you're posting content, you know exactly last year you've been in Bali with the boys, you have like a page of your highlights. So I also want to do it for myself, for my future self, to look back and see, okay, how I started, how I was progressing, even with the imperfections along the way. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, to sum it up, really stay true to yourself. And that's pretty much it.
I had a cool thought with something that you said about the like taking your time of like always trying to be a perfection. I remember like when I was first starting, I spent like an hour on this fucking caption, and I was like with this friend who doesn't even do content, and I was like, oh, like I don't know if this is cool or I don't know if this is cool, and he was like, you're the one that sets the determiner of what's cool and what's not cool. It's not like trying to think about what everybody else is going to think it's cool. Like you're the one who sets the tone of what's cool. And that really flipped a switch in my brain of like not trying to be the perfectionist, because no matter what you put out, you're the one that's setting the tone of being cool. I just thought that was cool.
Facts.
I think on like trending viral content and authenticity, the way you want to view it is when you're reverse engineering why something's trending, think less about the visual component and think more about the idea. Like if it's viral and trending, it's because the core of the idea is connecting with a wide audience. And your job as a creator, if you're going to lean on that for ideation and like going to use some component of that is to look at it and put your sunglasses on, which are like your USP. That's the lens that you see the world. So your USP is your unique selling proposition. That's dependent on like your environment, what you've gone through, your experience, what you've been exposed to, maybe the transformation, maybe there was a low point in your life. Whatever makes you is your USP. With that lens, like a pair of sunglasses, you're going to see it slightly differently. We may all see the same piece of content that we're like, oh, that's a good idea, I could use that. But it's going to come out very differently. Zedan, he's got his movie star shades on. It's going to look very differently to how I may create that same piece of content. So that's really key. And I think that's what drives a lot of authenticity, but also where people go wrong is they're looking at someone else's USP and they're trying to copy that as well. And when you take that from lots and lots of people, you just get this blended message that's like a little piece of the pie from everyone else. You need to understand your own USP, understand what you've gone through, your experience, and that's your authenticity. That's what actually makes you you. And then it doesn't matter where you pull the ideas from, whether it's other people's content, whether it's from books, podcasts, YouTube, life experience, scriptures, you can pull it from anywhere, but you're going to internalize that. And it's your job to break that idea down and put it into your own words and then push it back out in your own voice.
Type shit.
Cool. I reckon we're coming near the end. Few things to follow at the end of this. I'm going to be launching a 7-day challenge, and we're starting with on day 0 doing the USP. So actually breaking down your unique selling proposition, everything you need to know about how to really understand you, uncover some of your journey. There's some great ChatGPT prompts as well that just help dig a little bit deeper and I think actually make you reflect. And for a lot of people, they jump into content, but they haven't reflected on what makes them authentic or unique or stand out. From there, we're doing day 1 to 7, and we're going to go through visual, verbal, and written storytelling and basically set you up to launch your account for success. I'm going to drop a link and I'll send it out to everyone as well. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, boys. I know this was an interesting mission. I hope you guys really enjoyed this as well. It's first time doing something like this. It's always a bit of a mission having, a lot of people on the mic at once, but I hope it was valuable. And if you can take anything away, I think all of us can say that just starting is the most important thing. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just start, pick up the phone that's already in your pocket. You've got all the tools available to you, and we can't wait to see the content you produce.
RawDawg that bitch.
RawDawg it.
Let's go.